Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. From concealednation.org, they have leaked images, or supposed leaked images, of a Glock AR-15. Now, I was first aware of this when I saw Mr. Guns and Gear's video earlier today. Mike, that guy is awesome. He's always ahead of the curve. He lends a lot more credence than I would have just seeing these photos. But it looks like this could be a thing because Glock apparently has some patents tied to some military contracts or potential military contracts. So I find myself looking at this going, okay, cool. It's different. If you look at it, it's basically an AR-15 with ambi controls. Some of the stuff on it you can tell is like mag pull. But this is for contract. So this is up for the SAS in Britain for their contract for one of their firearms for their special air service. So I always thought it'd be kind of cool if Glock made a lower, but I'd always hoped it would have been kind of more of a polymer lower using their polymer technology. Only because it'd be different, okay? In reality, I don't really... AR makers are AR makers. There's good AR makers already. So, more power to them. I don't see this as any better of an entry than what SIG's already had. Or what Daniel Defense already has. Or even Palmetto State Armory. Everybody's making an AR-15 now. They may have some patent secret sauce in how they do things on the inside. On the outside, it looks very much like any ambi lower you could get from, LMT. Or even, what is it? It's not Apex. Anyway, there's several AR lowers I've seen like this that are ambidextrous controls. They sell ambidextrous controls for normal lower receivers. You have to make some concessions. They don't work as cool as these do. But then again, you're married to the parts from that vendor because no one's going to make that same exact part if you need it, if it ever breaks. That's not a big thing for most people. It is for me, just because I'm weird and I like keep things like extra extractor buttons and extra mag bars for the AR receiver. I keep extra parts because stuff happens. This is aluminum or steel. It's made by a machine that was made by a man who is not going to be perfect in any way. Machines fail. Being an IT guy by trade and a gun guy just by passion, I've known machines just to fail. I mean, it's just their time. So I keep parts. So when it's proprietary like this, I'm like, it's cool, but not, it's an AR. And when I say, it's an AR, it's not that I'm not excited for another AR or ARs in general. It's more so I'm not excited about, you're not really innovating. I mean, the coolest thing that's kind of been new, but we've all been seeing it for a while, is the Palmetto State Armory Jackal. They've had it around for, I want to say, 6 or so years, and they were showing it off, but they never had real production that you could actually buy. Now it's in production. Now it's being sold. You're seeing reviews on it. You're seeing glowing reviews by most that I've seen so far. So an AR is an AR to me nowadays. There's still some really crappy ARs. There are also some really good ARs. And in general, what I've found is you get what you pay for in all things. And there's no free lunch. So if something's really expensive, there's a reason why it was really expensive. Either it's the material or all the R&D that went into building whatever it was. If it's not that, if it's cheaper, then it's the type of material again and how much they did for quality control when it got shipped out the door. So I've always been a fan of, well, not always. I've been a I can't even say recent. since I started being a concealed carry guy, I've been a Glock guy. And that has been for a while now. So at least 15 to 20 years. So with that, having a Glock, it draws my attention to it because of the name, but because it's an AR, and most of the features I've either done to my rifle, modified it, or didn't like the modification and didn't care for the feature. So, I mean, I'm kind of interested in that fore end, but I'm kind of very happy with the rifle I built myself. And ultimately, that's what usually happens to AR guys, is they swap and trade and make the rifle fit them. Either it fits their need for the rifle or fits their aesthetic. That's why the AR is so popular in the United States. Is it's the male or the gun person equivalent to a Lego. You can sit there and add pieces, parts wherever you want, change whatever you want, change calibers. The gun is very versatile. That's why it's so damn popular. And that's why it is so ubiquitous that even the idiots that perpetrate all those bad shootings use the AR. It's the same as if every person that ever got in a wreck used a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla. You know, it's that ubiquitous. This is like water in the gun world. They're everywhere. Every gun guy, every gun person, even the newer shooters, this is a gun that they get directed to or was available for them in their price range. And there's nothing wrong with that. So when Glock came out with this, or if it does come out from Glock, Glock is the slowest to innovate and slowest to market. I don't know why that's the case. I could see this coming in like 2 to 3 years. But given the global supply chains and everything else, and they're usually based in Austria or Georgia, the Georgia guys, if they're working on this could spin up faster. If it's in Austria with the supply chains that they have for raw materials, I don't see it happening, especially with energy and anything else, anything lower than 2 to 3 years. Just because the globalized world where we could get a Glock in Austria and, Apple and from China, is going away. And I don't think that's still hit culture a lot. And when I say that, it's the rest of the world's kind of hosed, but as we bring everything here to manufacture in North America, it's starting to normalize things here, and we'll start seeing prices steady or level out. But we got a while to go. That's the geopolitical stuff I do on the side for my own amusement. So I'm interested in the Glock. We'll see when it comes out. And we'll see what the MSRP is. Because there's two things that Glocks usually do. And it's that they run, and that when they come to market, they usually come in at about what a working man can save and get. And I say that because a lot of guys couldn't just throw $600 down on a Gen 5 Glock or a Gen 4 Glock. They still made the Gen 3 up until very recently. And I don't know how many used Glocks you can find on the market. And the reputation that law enforcement has given the Glock brand name, and now special operators using the Glock pistols in their capacity. This could only go good for Glock if it works out. Maybe this is just a prototype to see if they could do this type of thing. They put it up for contract just to see what they needed to do to fix it for the future. Who knows? I can't fault them for wanting to innovate, especially when SIG does all kinds of new stuff. The new M5 service rifle, that was kind of out of nowhere for me. It shouldn't have been, but it was. In the gun world, I would have thought I would have seen that one coming, but maybe when I saw the articles in the past, I just kind of put them in the back. This one one Mike at Mr. Guns and Gear, and he's one of the blogs, one of the guys I'm on his mailing list. I follow him religiously just because he's very, very good at what he does, and he's taught me a lot just from watching his videos. So when he covered this, I was like, okay, I want to see what he has to say. And when Mike went through and pointed out that there's some actual patents that you could probably point to on this gun, that gave more credence to this. So I'll leave it there. Rumble, share, like, subscribe, be great.